guys see this? Let's talk about it because it's something that definitely affected my life. Physicians are dramatically underdiagnosing early cognitive decline, a precursor to Alzheimer's. It's called mild cognitive impairment. That's basically early onset Alzheimer's. It impairs the cognizance of a person. And it said that over 200,000 physicians that they surveyed, that's just the ones they surveyed, 99, that's almost all of them, 99% of them misdiagnosed mild cognitive impairment. Y'all. Now I get it. The brain is a crazy thing and it's a hard thing to diagnose and it's a hard thing to understand. I completely get it. But 99% is kind of like, because their patients are a certain age, they're just ignoring the fact that this could be Alzheimer's. And they don't realize how Alzheimer's can set on so early. When my father was temporarily in a nursing home while we took care of things after my mother passed away from cancer, there was a man that he had a roommate who was probably 40 something, and this man had dementia. When you tried to have a conversation with this man, it was like you were talking to somebody that was 90, and this man was in his 40s. And mind you, I was in my 40s. He wasn't that much older than me. I was probably 39, 40. You know, I wasn't in my 40s like I am now, 49. But I was early 40s. And this man wasn't that much older than me, you guys. And this man was in the same room with my father, who had full-blown Alzheimer's and who was damn near 80. One of the researchers said he expected the results to be bad because, you know, it's something that's overlooked, not on purpose, but he said he did not expect it to be that bad. 99% is awful. Awful, you guys. 99%. My father, when he was in his 50s, would go to the store for my mother. She would be cooking. She'd send him to the grocery store as per usual, the things that people send their husbands to the store for. You would have thought my father was having a full-blown affair because he would be gone for hours. He would be gone so long that when I got home, my mother would be like, go find your dad. And I would know exactly where to find my dad. Do you guys want to know where my dad was? He was not cheating on my mom. He was not with some woman. He was not at a bar drinking. He was not doing drugs. My father was walking around the grocery store with the list in his pocket that he forgot was there of the things that he needed my mother to get. Now, he would have his basket, and he would have his basket full of items. You know, he's grabbing things that he likes, that he remembers that he likes. But he couldn't remember why he was at the grocery store. He couldn't remember. And he wasn't even 60 yet. He was in his 50s, probably mid-50s, I would say. Because, he was in his mid-50s because I was really young. I was probably 20, 21. I was really young. So he was young. He was pretty young. And I'll go, Dad, and he's an ex-military man. He has his pride. He was the breadwinner of the house. He, took care of his family. He didn't want to be seen as somebody who was having memory issues, who was weak-minded, feeble-minded, or any of that. But he was feeble-minded, unfortunately. So I would say, Dad, where's your list? He would kind of be like, why are you asking me what my list is? Don't you see this grocery cart full of things? I've been getting the things your mother asked. He'll pull out the list. You guys, he pulls out the list, and I look at the basket. I do the comparison. I said, Dad, you're not getting the things, and I have to tread lightly, getting the things that Mom asked you to get. She needs you to get these things because she's cooking, and she wants you to come home, and she wants you to bring the things that she asked you for because she's cooking. He'd be like, I'll get them. And I would literally sit in the parking lot and wait for him to come out, because I would wonder if I would have to go back in there to remind him that he needs to get those things that are on Mom's list so she can finish cooking. Yeah, I literally sat in the parking lot because, I'm sorry, you guys, I got something on the end of my hair. Hold on. All right, I'm back. So I would literally sit in the parking lot because I knew if I went home that my mom was going to be like, did you find your dad? And I was going to say yes. Did he get the things on the list? And I'm over here like, I don't know. I left him there. And my mom would be looking at me like, why didn't you make sure he got the things on the list? Because I'm cooking. So I stayed in the parking lot. I would wait till he came out. And then when he came out, I would go wherever I was going or go back home. But, you know, I didn't want him to be like, my kid is following me and checking up on me and spying on me, because I wasn't. I didn't want him to think that we thought he was cheating. We didn't, but I kind of figured something was going on with memory. But as a 20-year-old who's doing their own thing, you don't really think about that. Like me now, you know, in my 40s, I think about it. You know, I'm mature enough to be like, not in my selfish mode, to think about my dad and what he was probably experiencing. But I think about it, he was underdiagnosed, misdiagnosed, because he had a strong mind. He was highly intelligent, and, you know, he could carry on a conversation and everything like that. When he goes to the doctor for his regular checkup, the doctor's missing it. The doctor's missing the fact that this man has the onset of Alzheimer's, that he is having MCI, that he's having these issues, because, you know, he seems strong, he's intelligent, he's working, he's doing everything. He's ex-military. He's like proud. He's all of this stuff. This man is suffering from MCI, and nobody realizes it because it's underdiagnosed. And I suspect that even though this survey is recent, that it's been being underdiagnosed for decades now. For decades. My dad didn't get to the point of Alzheimer's that his sister, my aunt, did. She got to the point where she was bedridden, unable to speak, unable to eat on her own, and things like that. And my sister and I prayed that my father wouldn't get to that point. That he got to the point where he was bedridden. He got to the point where he couldn't walk anymore, because he probably didn't even remember how to walk, honestly. And it just, you know, he got to that point. He could still talk and everything, but it's still a horrible thing to watch people go through, and it's a horrible thing to experience. It's not fun. And to think that that is something that these patients have been going through for decades and nobody catches it, it's crazy. It's really crazy. And I just don't wish Alzheimer's on anybody, because it's a hard thing to deal with. That you have to watch your family decline, and they're not the people that they used to be. They become a shell of their former selves, and they are literally living in the past. Literally. Now it's coming. There is an Alzheimer's drug that was released this summer, and it has to be used when it's caught in the early stages, like MCI, so it can start working and have an effect. Alzheimer's is one of those things that if you try to give them a drug after it's already onset, it's going to kind of be useless, because the brain is so powerful. It's just not gonna work. You have to catch it very early so it can get into treatment and be treating them. It said a third of the people diagnosed with MCI will develop Alzheimer's within 5 years. 5 years. That's crazy. The funny thing with that is the patient has to recognize they're having these symptoms, and the likelihood of that happening is so slim. But just love on your loved ones who have Alzheimer's or MCI, y'all. They really need it, and they're kind of lost in a world of confusion, and we got to be there for them to keep them present with us, and to just keep them comfortable, safe, warm, all of that. Just love on them. That's all I have to say about that. Just love on your Alzheimer's patients.